This is Channel 4 Radio.
Previously on Lost.
2 players, 2 sides. One is light, one is dark. Do you want to know a secret? What if everything that happened here happened for a reason?
We can't live together. We're gonna die alone.
I thought I heard whispering.
We're not the only people on this island, and we all know it.
You have only 3 choices. Run, hide, or die.
Do you think we're being punished?
Every 108 minutes, the button must be pushed.
Guys, where are we?
Hello, I'm Ian Lee. This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio, where, having now seen the Series 2 finale, we're already getting withdrawal symptoms. So, to help us all make the transition back to a normal life without the likes of Jack, Sawyer, Kate and Son, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes looking back at some of the highlights and taking a look at some of the end-of-series theories. You'll also have another chance to hear the best bits of Geeky Tom's interviews with cast and crew, so don't all rush at once, one at a time please, as you come down into our hatch and we bring you UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. Today, no ladies, well, Geeky Tom is here. And Paul.
Hey!
That's better, a little bit more verbal there. Thanks very much. Thank you for joining me in the hatch. Now, can we pick one highlight each from Series 2? One of the best moments you thought was just mind-blowing.
From the entire series?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Paul, anything?
I think one that sticks into mind straight away has to be Echo versus the Black Smoke, which is just insane. I mean, the Black Smoke we've seen before in Dribs and Drabs, but it's actually, we see it swirling around in front of one of the characters, and he survives it.
And you see the flashes as well, the flashes inside the smoke.
Yeah, get your DVD set and get the pause button ready and go through all
What
the
other flashes we see? It's all stuff we've seen, it's nothing unseen in there.
Well, there's a couple of things that I didn't recognise, of a couple of bits of lock and a couple of images that I didn't recognise before. But
it's all from his flashback.
They're all religious stuff, and it's all things from
all
his
to
flashback.
Do with him. Yeah.
But what's that about? I mean, you can say that. I mean, you're Mr. Science, so please, Tom, help me out.
Geeky Tom, help us.
What is it about?
I don't know. You know, I can't explain everything through science.
You can't explain nothing, my friend.
Explain things a lot better than you can. Super brain.
All right, steady on. We'll get to the super brain computer theory a little bit later on. It is a fantastic moment, and probably the last time that Charlie is vaguely interesting as well. Do you know what I mean?
You're not loving the Charlie.
I've really gone off Charlie a lot, especially towards the end, especially right at the end when the hatch explodes or whatever happens. We don't know, and Libby goes, "So what happened? Oh, nothing." Well, you know, come on.
That could be to do with something important, though.
I just find him so wimpy and
I must admit, I was really confused by that, because you'd at least say, like, blimey, the hatch went nuts. You'd say something, wouldn't you? I don't know why. I still don't know what that seems about. Very interesting.
And I don't get the thing with Charlie, going off on a tangent slightly, is how he's sort of evil now, and he tried to kidnap Son, but yet he's building a church. He's a contradiction.
But he got a handheld moment with Claire, and he got a kiss.
I think he's been got to.
You reckon?
Been otherfied. Otherfied.
I like that. That's good.
Geeky Tom, can you pick a highlight from the series?
After the long wait for season 2, the very first episode was brilliant. Very, very good.
That's your highlight, is it?
Yeah, all my mates were sitting around, all watching it, and we were mind blown by the fact that it starts off and you think that it's like a normal room, you know, some bloke's working out and puts some music on, does the dishes and stuff, and then suddenly it's all stopped by a huge explosion. You're like, and then it kind of goes and the music starts and he gets his guns out and it pans up the shaft.
Yeah, it's wicked.
And you see Lockin.
That is very exciting. When I first saw that scene, I thought that was a flashback to Jack.
Yeah,
because with the long hair. I thought we'd gone back to the kind of the 70s, and it was starting off with a flashback that was going to explain something.
And it's a bit like a Keep Fit video, isn't it? They cut really quickly around like the cycling, and you see his pecs going, he's making
and you're really relaxed, aren't you? Just like, it starts.
Is it a Jane Fonda video?
Yeah, it's slow start. It's
good Mama Cass song. You can't go wrong with a bit of Mama Cass.
Oh,
very good, very good.
I thought that was fantastic. I then thought that the rest of the episode and the next couple of episodes, I was a little bit disappointed.
You weren't a fan, were you?
I thought there was too much gung ho. Let's all run around with guns.
So the introduction of the button wasn't exciting to you. You didn't find that that very exciting?
No, I didn't, to be honest. I didn't. I thought it was a bit silly. What I didn't like, there were two things I didn't like. The number of guns and running around, and they did a new thing which they stopped after about the third or fourth episode, where you'd see something you'd seen already, but from someone else's perspective. Do you remember they did that?
Yeah, there's a lot of repeats.
I was worried that was going to be a new technique for the series.
Oh, that's interesting.
And luckily they didn't follow that through.
Well, I think it needed that for that episode, though.
No, I don't think it did.
Oh, well, you know.
One of my highlights has to be Michael's back. Brilliant. It's nice to see Michael. It's good to see Michael. We like. He shoots Anna Lucia in the belly, which is brilliant. Which is brilliant.
That's what everyone wanted.
And you think, God, what's happened there? That's really tense and dramatic. Then he shoots Libby.
Yeah. Another one of your most hated characters as well.
I'm not keen on Libby. Although I suspect in series 3 we're going to see a lot more of her.
I suspect that. So.
I suspect there's another Libby out there.
Well, there's got to be some more flashbacky stuff with her appearing, surely.
Absolutely.
She seems to be having quite a hold over certain characters. Psychological states.
Well, she keeps cropping up loads. I've got a friend of mine who's just seen the finale, and he didn't spot, as I didn't the first time around, that it's Libby that gives Desmond the vote.
I didn't spot it. The fringe.
Yeah.
Fringe Libby.
She has a bad wig on.
Yeah, I know. I'm
confused by wigs.
Wigs do confuse me. Another season disappointment was the first Jack flashback, where he's got a really bad wig on.
Oh, God, yeah.
Really bad. And I thought, hang on, production values have been cut.
when he saves his wife to be's.
That is it. And he's got a really shocking
I'll tell you
wig.
what I love about that, though, that particular moment was the whole two people come in, who am I going to save? I'll save this woman here. And it's Shannon's dad, Mr. Rutherford, who dies.
Yeah.
And the fact that he made that decision, like big ripples through time and space. And
Okay, so those are some of our highlights from Lost Series 2, but of course one of the big highlights of UK Lost has been Geeky Tom's interviews. Now, Tom, remind us who you interviewed.
I did loads, didn't I? I did.
All right, don't show off about it, mate. Just because I didn't get the gig. Do you know what I mean? I was hoping I'd get the call and I didn't. It turns out you did it.
Best man won, so...
Steady on.
I interviewed...
Corners, please, gents. There's a guitar there.
I interviewed Damon Lindelof, co-creator. I interviewed Jin, interviewed Mr. Echo, and Hurley.
What were they like? And be honest.
They were lovely.
Well, who was the nicest?
Jin.
Really?
Yeah.
He was hilarious, wasn't he?
He was great fun.
Well, the others, because I've seen some of the others being interviewed.
Yes.
And they can be, as actors are, because they're not their characters, a little bit quiet, a little bit monosyllabic.
Monosyllabic.
That's the word I was looking for.
All together now.
We can cut that bit out with the computer. No one will ever hear
explain
that.
that word to Tom. He doesn't know what it means.
It means words of one syllable. So I can't say it. You don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Well, we're quits.
Anyway, yeah, they were all. They get asked the same questions a lot of the time, and I tried to ask them questions that they hadn't heard, but I failed miserably, except for Jin, of course.
Okay, now we're gonna play an extract from your interview with Mr. Echo, mainly because I was so impressed you could pronounce the actor's name. Here it is.
Hi, it's Tom. On my mission to interview Mr. Echo, or Adewale Akinnoye Akbaje. I've heard that you chose the name Mr. Echo.
Yeah, I mean, the creators had come up with the name originally as Emeka, and when they brought me on board, I mentioned to them that I'm of Nigerian descent, obviously, and there's 3 main tribes in Nigeria, which is Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Emeka being an Igbo name, and it's a different dialect. I'm from the Yoruba tribe, so I kind of wanted to keep it local, and I said I threw a few names out there, and Echo was one of them, and they loved it. But they'd stressed that they wanted him to be very mysterious, and so I said, well, can we call him Mr.? And they said no, because none of the other characters had a title. And I said, well, that would be a perfect reason, why you should have it. And they thought about it, and then they went for it, and there he was born, Mr. Echo.
I mean, it gets very religious at points. You're practicing Buddhist.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, because that was probably the main reason I took the role. I was a little sceptical at first when they said a place, and I was like, how am I going to marry that with my own faith and beliefs? I said, I don't really want to be compromising, who I am and what I believe. And they said, no, that would be great because you can bring the flavour. And in all honesty, I took the role because I thought it would be interesting to study another person's faith, and it would also at the same time deepen my own, because I'd have to strengthen it, and I wanted to compare them. And so often before I go on a set, I chant. That's what we do in my practice. We chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and I chant for like 2 hours just to, as a step preparation, to get me in that state of spiritual awareness, so that it will resonate whether I'm speaking as a Catholic or as a Muslim. It was something I had to get over, and I think it's worked.
There's quite a few episodes where you don't actually say a lot. You know, you've got your vow of silence while you've, the 40 days thing. Is that quite hard to act, kind of doing all the kind of facial expressions, and because there must have been a lot of work gone into those?
But I'll tell you what, it was frustrating at first because I didn't know that's what they had planned. You know, I was just like, when am I going to open my mouth? So if you can see me, I'm fighting at every opportunity I can, trying to find the camera and just put on the right look. You know what I mean? But and I was just getting worried, like, am I actually going to say anything? And then I get a 3-page monologue.
This is the last question. Have you ever got all the producers, executive producers, drunk to find out what's going to happen at the end of the show, or do you actually know anyway?
No, they guard it with their life, really? Because the modern world of technology, you open your mouth and it's all over the world. I mean, one of the actors had thrown away a script inadvertently after we'd shot the scene, and it ended up on eBay. So for reasons like that, the security is very tight, and that's why we get it only 2 days before. They don't trust us.
I mean, that's how I'd want. If I was an actor on the show, I'd want to, it to be a surprise for me, kind of what's going to happen at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you less to think about, and after the first couple of episodes, at first you're anxious to know, but then you just let it go and like, whatever. If I'm dead, I'm dead. You know what I mean? You just roll with it. So it's quite a relief,
So thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much for that, Tom. Excellent stuff. We'll be hearing from some more of your interviews a little bit later on in the show. This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio, where we've been very impressed by the time and research you've put into the theories that you've sent us in over the past few months, and equally impressed in a different way by how mental some of them were. We're going to take a look now at some that have been written with the end of Series 2 in mind. OK, so this is 3 new theories we've got here. Theory 1 is Penny's window theory by the Dharma's wife. I think the electromagnetism on the island has created a bubble around the island, hiding it from the rest of the world. By pressing the button, not only do you prevent the magnetic charge from building up too much, but also keep the magnetic field at the right level to maintain the bubble. Now that Desmond has activated the failsafe, the island is now visible again. So, I don't think Penny had employed those Brazilians to find the island. I believe she knows exactly where it is. I think she's employed them to watch out for when a window through the bubble appears. This is why the two men are stressing out and one says, "We missed it again." I believe they missed the last time a window appeared, which was when Desmond didn't press the button and the plane crashed. One of them also says, "So it's not a false alarm this time." I think the false alarm was when Locke was late entering the numbers and the hieroglyphics started to appear. Also in Series 1, Walt's comic book showed people living in some kind of snow globe, so this could have been a clue. Is that true about the comic?
The comic strip has got some kind of structure like that in it, yeah.
Well, half of that she's just copied off the telly, isn't she? The stuff about the bubble kind of makes sense, and the button, that's...
Yeah, no, it's all standard stuff, to be honest. It's straight to the point, and I like it.
Yeah.
That's how I think... that's what I think is going on, to be honest.
think the force field bit's quite nice.
Yeah.
The electromagnetic force field, that's because he says no one can see this place.
Yeah.
Like, no radars.
You'll never find me again.
You'll never find it, yeah.
Well, we will do now because there's no force field.
I like what she says about the false alarm, about Locke not entering the numbers in time, and
makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm shocked because we've got a vaguely sensible.
I don't know what to do with it. I'm
theory that is quite plausible.
That's actually all right.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Theory 2. It's all Greek to me by Clever Clogs. Having watched the Season 2 finale, I've realised there are too many references to Greek mythology to ignore. First of all, we were introduced to Penny Widmore. Penny is, of course, short for Penelope, which will be a name familiar to fans of Homer's The Odyssey. In this epic, Odysseus was trying to return to his wife Penelope from the Trojan War, but kept getting stranded along the way. This sounds a lot like Desmond to me. Also, while Odysseus was away, Penelope had 108 suitors, and his dog was called Argos, which is the same name as one of the characters' dogs in Bad Twin. Then, of course, we have the four-toed statue, which could be part of the Colossus of Rhodes. Wow, who's up on their Greek mythology and can therefore cross-reference this?
Tom? No, not
vague reference when I was 7, but Yeah.
Again, this kind of makes sense. There is a lot of mythological references. I mean, the four-toed statue, it seems quite mythological. I don't know if there are any four-toed creatures in...
I think that sometimes, I think it's great they pick up on all these themes related to names and things like that, but you've got to remember that sometimes, a lot of the time, the show's producers are just putting all these little touches in. Like John Locke, was a philosopher and stuff like that. So I think the statue is the most, tangible part of that. And Damon Lindelof has spoken about how If you think about the island being like an archaeological dig, exactly.
It's got a history to it that we want to find out about.
So who was there before 1900? Who was there before? Or, how old is this place? Nobody knows how old it is. And
could have been Greek. Yeah, it could have been a Greek civilization there.
It could be billions of years old. So
not billions.
Billions is a bit strong.
Argos. That's the shop, isn't it?
Yeah, I got thrown by that.
What's that all about? And I'm sorry we haven't got any in stock, but the computer says you have. Well, the computer's wrong. Okay, another good theory. Thank you for that, Clever Clogs. Theory 3 is the psychic theory by elasticated waste. Now that we know the plane crash was an accident... Well, hang on, I'll stop you there.
Yeah, no, well, do we know that it...
We said the only way that it wouldn't be an accident would be if that intrinsically planned down to seeing the tear in his trouser leg, went outside... The timing of it is mental, but I'm not discounting that it could have been all planned. But I think that's fair to say it still might have been an accident.
Let's go. Sorry, we're dissecting this. Well,
sorry.
Now that we know the plane crash was an accident, a lot of people are saying that the Losties couldn't have been brought to the island for a reason. I disagree. Yes, it was an accident, but let's not forget that there may be some people with psychic abilities around. We know that some of the experiments on the island investigated the paranormal, and it is possible that, like the Montauk Project, people were trained to have their psychic abilities enhanced. I believe these people are the others. They were test subjects that are now using their abilities for the good of the world, hence fake Henry Gale saying, "We are the good ones." It is clear that they don't live in tents, and I don't even think they live on the same island. They live in a very sophisticated place, which is possibly underwater, and using the Parlour ferry, which could be a submarine, to get there. So, the others predicted the plane crash and ensured that Walt and Claire's baby would be on the plane because they are both psychic, and some of the psychics are getting old and they need new blood. There is a reason for all the Losties being there, which we will discover in due course. Doesn't really say anything, that theory, does it?
They're all quite tame this week. They're not completely out there. And one thing I've thought about hearing that one is that no one's really talked about the point they were going to LA. Like, maybe if they were all put onto the plane for a reason, maybe there was some station or Dharma Institute thing in Los Angeles, and maybe there was a decision made mid-flight or something. Like,
well, that's I don't want to be rude, mate. That's obviously guff.
No, I'm just saying that no one's talked about the route of the plane
because it's irrelevant.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows things though.
No, I'm not. I'm so not rude. No, I'm not teasing you at all. I'm just saying that we're talking about the plane turning around.
We should say that Paul works for Lost, editor of Lost magazine, so you may have insights that we don't know.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Something as huge as that, I wouldn't just throw that in there. But I'm just saying that if it's mid-flight and the pilot turned around, we know that the magnet caused the crash. Yeah. But no one's talked about that, the actual route of the plane.
The pilot worked for Dharma and he was all in on it.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's cool. But I'm just saying
I just said that. I didn't know what I was saying.
No, that's good. No, I like. Well,
don't know where it comes from.
I think the LA. I don't know. I think the LA is a red herring, and it's never been mentioned. If it was more important, it would have been mentioned. Anyway, Tom, what do you think to this theory?
I like it, except for the bit about psychics.
Well, it's called the psychic theory.
Yeah,
the whole thing is about psychics.
I don't like anything that involves psychic abilities and all that kind of unbelievable stuff. It just doesn't float my boat.
But the fact that there's obviously a psychic element on the show that you're ignoring, it is a TV show, so they can bend the rules and laws of the world that we live in.
But nothing in the show at the moment has made me believe there's something like magic abilities or something going on.
Has he been watching the same programme as us?
He did blows my mind when he does that.
Drugs can make people hallucinate and all sorts. A lot of things can be explained.
Licorice all sorts.
Through the use of hallucinogenic drugs.
Okay, let's go into the smoke. We saw the black smoke. Yeah. We saw it. We saw what was in the black smoke.
But Russo says that people get sick on the island. Maybe that's a form of sickness.
Yeah, but let's be aware that whatever this monster is, security system, whatever it is, it manages to uproot trees that are clearly like 5 years old.
Hallucination.
No, it does uproot trees. We've seen that happen.
Okay. Before they were on the island, Walt is clearly psychic because of where he's reading the comic book and that bird flies into a window. It's coincidence. Shut up, is it?
I just thought of a psychic thing which kind of negates my LA comment earlier.
Okay, good. We like that.
Which is interesting. Brave. I think. I don't want to go on this. Kelvin Inman, we'll come to him in a minute properly, but Kelvin Inman, I think there's some kind of psychic thing going with him. Because
why does everyone have to be psychic?
No, it's a broad term. There's some paranormalness, strangeness, otherworldliness, because, first of all, he can do that painting. He can carry on without seeing what he's doing. Well, if he can see,
okay.
But I think that the point of which he left the hatch is almost like he's aware of what's happening with the flight. As well as he might have been informed on a radio, or like he got like a text.
Quick,
leave the hatch now, the plane's going to crash. I think there's something, because, I think if you look at the military experiments, I think that Kelvin is involved with that, and that's why. Yes,
you're wrong. You're wrong on the map thing though, because if you look when he's doing the map, he's feeling and looking very carefully, so it's not a psychic thing.
Could be a double bluff. Yeah, just to throw Desmond off the scent of his psychic abilities. Yeah.
Still to come on UK Lost, some more of our highlights from Series 2 and Geeky Tom's interviews. This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio. I'm Ian Lee here with Tom and Paul. We've been taking a look at some of our favourite bits from Series 2 and we've got time to pick one more each. Tom, can you pick another highlight of the second series for us?
I think it was the start of Another 48 Days when you're watching that beach scene, all tranquil, quite relaxing, wondering what's going to happen in this episode, and suddenly you hear like a loud noise getting louder and louder, and then the tail section flies down and smashes into the sea and it goes boom, Lost.
You know when the title comes up?
Yeah.
Does anyone else, when they're watching at home, go, Lost? Did anyone do that?
No,
I may have done
everyone does the previously on Lost.
Yeah.
Before.
Did anyone else laugh at when Jack Bender's name comes up? No? Okay.
Yeah,
that was a particularly spectacular episode. I think it's when Lost kind of, went into
Everyone knew that there was a tail section. It was a lot of rumours.
Yeah.
You see Annalisa. Is it end of season 1? And you're like,
season 1 finale,
I'm going to be in the tail section and stuff. You're like, wow, she's blatantly going to be in it, isn't she?
It was exciting. CGI, a little bit ropey though.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, sometimes when they do the big special effects like that, because when you compare it to the start of Series 1, where he comes out on the beach and you see...
Oh, man.
Isn't that just one of the most exciting things ever on TV? Just superb.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
I might watch that again this week. Paul, another highlight from you?
Yeah, well, I mentioned him a second ago, but the whole Kelvin Inman thing is destroying my brain a little bit, because this is the guy who Saeed had an interaction with way back during that flashback with the first Gulf War. So he made Saeed become a torturer because he could speak the lingo but was messing with him, and then he ends up all these years later in the hatch with Desmond, and he's pushing that, and he knows all about you know, Dharma stuff. So that connection, I think, to me, of all the connections between the other characters, that's the biggest, most crazy connection, which is just... And now he's dead.
I don't think he is. I don't think he is dead.
What, with the brain falling out of the skull?
Well, he didn't. No, he just, he just fell on the rock, and then he was just like, oh my god, he's dead. Is he? Have you checked his pulse?
Oh, all right, fair play to you. The fact that you have to pay attention to this show.
No one has stumbled across the body, have they?
This is true. This is true.
I think he faked it.
I thought I saw some brain matter, but if it was just blood,
it could have been one of those little exploding packs they have at the back of the head,
That's a little bit too contrived.
That's forward thinking, yeah. That would actually be rubbish. I would hate that if that was the case.
The biggest highlight for me of the entire series, episode 17, Lockdown, is it 17?
I actually agree with that.
Favourite episode in the entire thing, you could pick anything from that. Yeah. But the bit where Locke is trapped underneath the door, the lights all go off, it's all spooky, it's all dark, and he looks up and you see the map. You see the map reflected in his eye. You think there have been so many surprises, you can't get any more, and then they just smack you in the face with something like that. It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
Excellent stuff. We're at the end of Series 2 now, and there are still so many unanswered questions, so I thought we'd take a look at some of these and see if we can speculate on possible answers. Jack's tattoos. We've seen in flashbacks him not having them on, so it's obviously happened at some point. There's a reference to Thailand, isn't there, or something? Doesn't Sawyer make a reference to...
have you seen the TV show called Party of Five? Didn't he used to be in that?
Yeah, he was great in that.
Yeah, surely, I heard that they were from that time when he actually got them. They weren't actually part of the show, they were...
What?
Actual tattoos.
Yeah, I think they're actually the actor's tattoos. No, seriously.
I've heard that too.
But they've incorporated it into.
Into the show.
Well, if they have, then fair enough.
Because there are some flashbacks he hasn't got the tattoos.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's pretty nifty with a gun, isn't he? Him and Thingy were in the net, Kate, and firing at the rope, and she was, she's a criminal.
Actually, you're right. He's really good with guns
and he just went, give it to me, darling. I can do it.
That's almost impossible to shoot.
Yeah,
a piece of rope.
I'd say that.
Well, special powers. You said that last week. Maybe
It's seriously got special powers. I think there's a lot we're going to learn about Jack.
Yeah,
like Series 7 or something, probably.
Can't he just be a really good shot? Why does he have to have special powers?
No one's that good a shot, man. No one is that good a shot.
Yeah, they are.
Who?
I don't know.
Thank you.
He did perform a miraculous spinal surgery, which was, deemed a miracle if it pulled off.
Coincidence.
No, that doesn't wash with me. Who is Christian's daughter?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favourite bits of the series. Actually, when we thought, is that Claire? And it wasn't Claire in the doorway, but it was a young woman about Claire's age.
This is Jack's dad. He goes back to Australia.
Yeah.
He gets boozed up as per usual, and we see him saying, "Let me see her, and
he tells Big Porky Pie when Annalisa says, "Where are we going to Australia?" Oh, just want to get away. And then he's going to visit his
Any
child.
idea who the daughter is, Tom?
Illegitimate child?
Yes.
That's all I've got on that one, I'm afraid.
Okay, well done.
I think she's related to Claire in some way,
Okay.
like
Just 'cause
like
they look
sister
the
or
same.
niece. Well, no, because it's just lost, hemming together all the storylines. If it was utterly random, then it would be a bit of a shame.
Well, here's something I want to know. Why is Locke in a wheelchair? Paul.
Well, that is it. You've hit the nail on the head. I want to know that.
I know. I do want to. Yeah. Why can he walk?
I want to know that so badly.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I would hazard a guess that it's a degenerative disease as opposed to an injury.
That is interesting.
I would say a degenerative disease.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but mine is that he was in the army and
never
horrific shooting range accident shattered his spine.
No. He's never been in the army. He's a fantasist, surely. He's read about these things.
I don't think it's a leg thing. I agree with Tom. I think it's a spine thing. I think there's another connection.
Agreeing with Tom, eh?
Yeah. No, I do think it's something to do with some kind of paralysis thing, which is rather than more of a leg-related paralysis. It's more spinal. I know they're intrinsically connected, aren't they?
Well, of course they are. Your spine is connected to your legs,
right.
I think.
Scrub
Hang
all
on,
that.
let me do the song. The hip bones connect. I
To
can't
that,
remember.
yeah, lovely. But no, I think what I meant was there's a Jack spinal surgeon connection to Locke in some fashion, maybe.
What?
Oh,
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
That would be good, wouldn't
Jack
it?
mucked up some surgery and now he's paralysed.
Well, maybe if he had like a really crazy different haircut and John Locke had like more hair or had a full beard, they wouldn't recognise each other.
Or his dad muffed it up when he was boozed up.
Oh, that I like a lot.
His
That's
dad
good.
muffed up an operation on Locke.
Yeah.
Because he was steaming on
He was just
booze.
He saw 3 locks. Yeah. He was fiddling over here.
Wow.
Just got the vodka out at the table.
And the island obviously heals people, but he loses the ability to walk again when he gets to the Nigerian plane.
Yeah, but he goes there again and he can walk.
Yeah.
Well, it's not exactly the same area, is it?
It's exactly the same area.
Isn't he walking around?
No, he's not walking that's why he asked Boone to climb up to the cliff.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Is Anthony Cooper his dad?
Well, this is the whole father issue thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they all seem to have. I mean, I'm fine with him being his dad. I just want Anthony Cooper to have much more, relevance to the show. And like as I said before, like he's obviously a con artist of the highest order. And it's like, who's the other con man we know? Sawyer. So I want them to have collaborated on some project together. That'd be awesome.
Frustrating, isn't it? It's really doing my head in.
You can't wait for season 3, can you?
I cannot wait for it. Hurley, why is he bonkers? Sorry. Let me politically correctly. Why was Hurley in a mental institution?
The numbers, wasn't it? It was.
Well, it was the catatonic state that he went into after the pier collapsed and all those people died. And he blamed himself for it, didn't he? And all he did was.
I hope we get a flashback in season 3 of that.
One other question that I have, maybe you've got some of your own. What are the black smoke and the whispers?
What the whispers? Yeah, what
the
are the whispers?
I mean, to me, next to the monster with the kind of otherworldliness of the island, the whispers are it for me. I want to know what that's about.
How hectic is that bit though, where they all get shot by darts?
It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the whispers have appeared more when I watched season 2 again. They appear more in the show than you think they do. Loads in the first third. There's loads of them appearing around, like when there's danger or when the others are appearing and stuff. They're like a distraction. But I don't know. I love them being something creepy. I don't want them to be like explained away with like, oh, it's a lot of piping and there's lots. It's a distraction tool. It's like a sort of stealth maneuver. Like, no, because exactly, it would be ridiculous. And I want them to be slightly spooky and slightly weird, and because here's the thing: in series 1, when Sawyer heard them, they were saying on the wind, it will all come back around. Yeah, which is what was said to him in his flashback when he
and he's like
off the guy.
They said like stuff like oh, do you think he heard us? No, I think it's okay, and it's quite strange.
So I think it's another manipulation tool, a bit like when you're saying about visions of people, visions of dead people.
Do they acknowledge that they hear the whispers? They do sometimes, then they don't, and it's quite strange.
They generally do. They freak out. They freak
isn't
out,
it when Anna Lucia and all that lot before she shoots Shannon? There's the whispers then, and everyone starts panicking, looking around. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's well creepy. So yeah.
Any questions, Tom? Any questions that you have that are unanswered, that are confusing you, upsetting you, making you sad?
Just the usuals, locking his legs, the others.
Yeah, when I say any other questions, what I meant was ones that we hadn't just talked about then.
Those. Paul.
I want to know loads more about Kate's past relationship before she got to the island with this Edward Mars, with the US Marshal bloke. Because I think there was some great stuff when they played with Series 2 with that, but I think that he was chasing her for a long time and he committed his life to sort of chase her. So I don't know, I'd like to see that relationship explored a bit more and maybe explain a few more things about Kate before she got to the island.
Now, Tom, I do know that you love hearing the sound of your own voice, so it's a very special treat. You've been a good boy. It's time now to play another clip from your interviews. This time, your one with writer and co-creator of Lost, Damon Lindelof, which starts with you asking about whether he looks at the Lost theories on the internet.
I mean, there's a lot of Lost forums, Lost theories out there. I mean, you must occasionally take a look at a few of them.
Absolutely. I mean, I started out as a web fanatic on shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Alias, and and I found websites that I think give honest feedback about the show, and then there are websites that just sort of critique the show for critique's sake. There's a lot of bad things to say about Lost, and most of them are said by us. We're very harsh critics of our own work, so we try to, not go on the internet and find people complaining about the show.
But there are a lot of really good theories out there.
Much smarter than we could ever come up with.
But there's also some incredibly poor ones, like my friend Ian Lee is thought up of, about how Walt is connected to a brain computer, and he's in a constant eternal struggle with the black smoke, using his psychic powers to kind of, help the islanders out. I mean, what do you think of that?
How shocking would it be if I told you that Ian Lee was absolutely 100% spot on correct?
I would think that you were probably lying just for this interview, because it's a load of guff.
It is a fair amount. I'd say it's on the guff scale, it's probably a 9.
Right, what's up? This is a part of the show that I love, and that's the monster. And what I love about it is the sound design. A lot of sounds going on in there. I can pick out just a few, like the chains, like definitely some mechanical noises, but it's mixed up with more kind of animal sounds. I've just, did you have a plan for the monster, and the sounds, and or did you give it to the sound designers and go, this is what we want for the monster, the kind of sound it has?
I give kind of Soul, Carlton Cuse, and JJ and I are sort of the creative brains behind the genesis of the script writing and the storytelling, but Brian Burke is another executive producer on the show, and he is responsible for all things post-production. He's involved in, sort of the A to B planning of it, but where he really kicks in is there. And while we were shooting the pilot, he was already designing the sound of the monster, because while we were there on the beach, when they're all sitting around, there's this scene where they all hear it for the first time, and everyone starts to turn towards the jungle, and they all line up on the wing, and there's this big shot, and Brian wanted to play over the public address system the sound of the monster that he was working for the first time, so that the actors would be hearing it for the first time and could react accordingly. In the script it said it's something unlike they've never heard before, partly mechanical, partly animal, and that's really all he had to go on, and then we just sort of sat back and let him do his work. The majority of his work he did, in post-production, and he found all these great sounds, one of which is in the New York City cab system. They have to print out a receipt whenever you get out of a cab, and it goes, and he just recorded that. And so whenever people were getting into cabs in New York and they started hearing that sound after they saw the show, there was some sort of oddly disquieting sense they were experiencing, but they didn't know why, because it was mixed in with howler monkeys and 11 or 12 other different sounds that he found to sort of create the sonic sense of the monster.
Is there going to be a Lost movie?
There are no plans to do a Lost movie right now. Ultimately, I think it is a very cinematic show and would lend itself to a movie, and that might be the perfect way to actually wrap everything up in a nice bow. But the reality is Carlton and I actually went and we looked at interviews that Chris Carter had done around the same time that we are in the show now, for the X-Files, and at the end of the second season of the X-Files, he said, people were asking him all the same questions they ask us about Lost. Do you have a plan? Is there an answer to all these questions? Is Mulder ever going to be reunited with his sister? Is he ever going to find out what the truth is? And Chris Carter said, yes, I've got a plan, and my plan is that I'm going to do 4 seasons of the X-Files and then a movie, and the movie is going to answer all the questions. And that was his plan, but Fox, who produces the show, said, the X-Files is a huge hit. We're not going to let you do that. As long as people are watching the show, we're going to make you keep doing it. And it went on for 9 years, and everybody complained about the fact that it got muddy. And the reality is we're working in the same environment, and I can't promise that Lost won't get muddy. We would love to end the show after 4 years, 5 years tops, and then do a movie. That'll be the best version of it, and according to our plan, but we have to prevail upon our masters to allow us to execute that plan.
There you go. Okay, thank you very much, Damon.
You are quite welcome. I really enjoyed our time together.
Hey, Tom, thanks a lot for doing those.
No problem, Ian.
And he says through gritted teeth because he didn't get the gig of going to interview them. This is UK Lost from Channel 4 Radio, and Series 2 has just finished, but we're already looking ahead to Series 3, which can't start soon enough. Anybody got any predictions for Series 3? Tom?
I think the outside world is going to be really a big factor in Series 3.
Yeah. That was exciting when that happens at the end of Series 2.
Yeah.
Could be a little bit... I'm worried it could ruin it a bit.
Well, I think it's probably going to add to it and make it better.
OK, wow, that's... wow, OK, fine, good argument there. Any other predictions?
I hope that there's a boat offshore. I mentioned it last week. Yeah. I think that's where the other others live, and that's where they're being taken.
Okay, Paul, any predictions of Series 3?
I think that Series 2, we've only scratched the surface with the others, and I think that Series 3 we will be discovering a lot more about them, and I think we made a lot of assumptions as audience about what the others are and what they're about and what their MO is.
We assume that they're the bad guys.
We assume so much about them, and I think that Series 3 has got to explore that a lot more, peel away all the layers and then, expose them.
Do you think we're going to see some union between the others and the Losties? They're going to become friends, hang out, have parties?
That'd be
no.
Now, I suppose you've seen the trailers on YouTube and various other sites. The trailers for the new series have been posted. Some are a little bit rubbish. They just show clips from the first 2 series. There's a really odd one where it's Henry Gale narrating it, and then the last shot is Henry Gale stood in the middle of a circle with the main, like the 5 or 6 main characters.
I've not seen that one.
Oh, it's a good one, that. Yeah,
check that out.
It's quite exciting. But my favourite trailer of them all, 15 seconds long, and it's it's all new locations. You see Jack leaning on something, sort of looking over something, but he's in a cave kind of thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember this one I've seen, yeah.
You see Sawyer in a prison cell.
He's like in a cage, isn't he?
Rattling it like a monkey.
Rattling it, let me out!
Son of a bitch!
Yeah. And you see Jack doing one of those, what do you call those doors with a circular handle?
Ones
an airlock.
Yeah, in submarines where
an airlock door. And then he opens it and then loads of water. Open the door! And then loads of water comes flashing through. Tom, we'll start with you. Any idea what this could be?
It's pointing to some kind of offshore kind of facility / boat, I think.
I think they could be underwater.
Yeah, I think that could be a possibility due to the fact that all the water gushes out when he undoes the door. That points to that.
Okay, well, it doesn't point to underwater because that would flood it.
I think there has to be a reason why there is like that amount of water behind that door, or the location of it. There has to be something we've kind of experienced on the show before, or themes of the show we've experienced before to lead towards that location. So we have to think about that a lot.
Another trailer that I've seen, it's a minute long, and there's lots of clips from the first 2 series, but there's one shot of Kate and Mr. Happy. Kate's wearing a gorgeous dress.
Who's Mr. Happy?
What's his name?
Oh, Mr. Friendly.
Mr. Friendly.
Get it right.
I thought it was a new character. No, I got excited. I was like, who's he?
I nearly called him Captain Burton.
Beardy McTomtom.
Yeah, so there's the shot of them. She's wearing a dress. She's got her hair's all done nicely, and they're walking under a sort of a canopy or under a walkway or something. Have you not seen this, Tom?
No. Is that some kind of marriage?
Sounds like a wedding. Yeah.
It looks like a procession of some kind. We'll hunt it down on the YouTube. I'll show you. It's
nice.
What trailers have you seen? Any others?
The one I've watched the most is the 15-second one for the new location.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen.
It's cut so quickly that you do get to sort of get a real sense of the again how it's going to go just nuts in Series 3. So.
Tom, any others you've seen?
Just those ones. Those are so good.
Well, the series in the States starts in October the 4th. I'm kind of tempted to go over there and see it. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be that. I don't think I can wait until Channel 4 starts showing it, whenever that may be. I am getting very excited and could speculate for hours on what's going to happen, but that is all we've got time for. So thanks to my panellists, Geeky Tom. Thank you, Geeky Tom.
No problem.
Paul, the editor of Lost Magazine, where can we get it if we so wish?
From all good stockists, or you can get it online and subscribe online at www.titanmagazines.co.uk/lost.
Okay, Tom, you've got a website?
No.
Okay, lovely. UK Lost will return, so keep checking. I'm Iain Lee, and remember, the button is bad.
You've been listening to a download from Channel 4. To find more downloads like this, go to channel4radio.com.